At the heart of Trump's retribution campaign lies a chilling artifact, a list of over 60 individuals, compiled by his loyal attack dog, Kash Patel, targeting perceived enemies in the national security community, Democratic circles, and even disloyal Republicans. This isn't a policy agenda, it's a hit list straight out of a dictator's playbook. Patel, who slithered into the role of FBI director despite a confirmation hearing where he swore under oath to have no such vendetta, is now the architect of Trump's crusade to crush dissent. Names like John Bolton, Barack Obama, and Hillary Clinton are scrawled on this blacklist, their only crime being their refusal to bow to Trump's fragile ego. Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor, is a prime target. His sin: writing The Room Where It Happened, a book that dared to expose Trump's incompetence and betrayal of national interests. Trump, ever the thin-skinned narcissist, couldn't handle the truth, so he unleashed his goons to raid Bolton's home. A pathetic flex to project law and order while his administration drowns in scandal. The irony is rich. Trump, a convicted felon, fancies himself the chief law enforcement officer, barking orders to his lackeys while dodging accountability. For his own crimes, from the Epstein cover-up to economic mismanagement, his claim to be above the law is not just delusional, it's a dangerous mockery of justice. Then there's Laura Loomer, the far-right provocateur who somehow wormed her way into Trump's inner circle. This self-proclaimed proud Islamophobe and conspiracy theorist infamous for claiming 9/11 was an inside job has become Trump's unofficial loyalty enforcer. With no formal role, Loomer wields outsized influence, pointing her manicured finger at anyone she deems insufficiently MAGA, and poof, they're gone. From National Security Council officials to West Point appointees, Loomer's hit list is a wrecking ball, demolishing careers with the precision of a toddler in a tantrum. Her April 2025 Oval Office meeting, where she handed Trump a dossier of disloyal staffers, led to the firing of 6 National Security Council members, including Brian Walsh and Maggie Doherty. Trump, spineless as ever, barked orders to fire them all, hugging Loomer on her way out like a starstruck fanboy. This is not governance. It's a reality show gone rogue, with Loomer as the unhinged director. The list of targets reads like a who's who of patriots and truth-tellers. Jack Smith, the special prosecutor who dared to investigate Trump's crimes, is now under investigation himself. Miles Taylor, a whistleblower from Trump's first term, faces probes for exposing the chaos of that administration. Chris Krebs, who declared the 2020 election the most secure in history, is being hounded for telling the truth. Andrew Cuomo, Adam Schiff, Letitia James, and Lisa Cook are all caught in Trump's crosshairs. Slapped with baseless charges like mortgage fraud, a transparent attempt to smear and silence. This isn't law enforcement. It's a vendetta, a desperate bid to chill free speech and punish those who dared to defy the orange overlord. Trump's defenders, like Patel, have the audacity to claim this is law and order, accusing the Biden administration of weaponizing the DOJ. The hypocrisy is staggering. Where was this outrage when Trump pardoned his cronies or buried the Epstein files? Where's the law and order when Trump's allies, like Loomer, peddle racist bile against Kamala Harris, mocking her Indian heritage with vile curry jokes? The Biden administration never compiled a hit list or sent troops to intimidate blue states. Trump's doing both, and his sycophants cheer while the nation burns. While Trump's enemies list fuels his purge, his other hand is busy militarizing America's streets. National Guard and military troops are being deployed to blue states and cities Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., under the guise of national security. This isn't about safety, it's about intimidation. Trump, ever the wannabe strongman, wants to project power, but all he's projecting is weakness. His administration is crumbling under the weight of its own incompetence, so he distracts, with tanks and troops turning democratic cities into occupied zones. It's a page ripped from Mussolini's playbook, dressed up in MAGA red Washington. D.C., once a symbol of American democracy, now resembles a dystopian checkpoint. Homeless encampments and immigration debates pale in comparison to the chilling sight of soldiers patrolling the Capitol. Trump's obsession with control has turned the city into a fortress, alienating citizens and eroding civil liberties. Spokespeople have the gall to claim this is about cleaning up America, but the only thing being cleaned out is our freedom. The image of a Native American shedding a tear over litter in a 1970s commercial comes to mind, a poignant metaphor for the tears we shed over Trump's assault on our democracy. Chicago is next on Trump's hit list, with threats to send in more troops to restore order. Order from what? The only chaos is the one Trump's creating, diverting resources from public health and national security to fuel his ego-driven spectacle. This isn't leadership. It's a tantrum, a flailing attempt to distract from his administration's failures, the economy tanking, the Epstein cover-up unraveling, and his own legal troubles mounting. Trump's desperate to look tough, but he's just a paper tiger, roaring to mask his fragility. Speaking of failures, let's talk about the Epstein files. Trump's obsession with law and order conveniently sidesteps his own ties to the disgraced financier, while he sends the DOJ after his enemies. The Epstein case, a scandal that could implicate Trump himself, languishes in the shadows. Kash Patel's discovery of burn bags filled with sensitive documents is a laughable distraction. A plot twist so absurd it could have been scripted by a B-movie writer. Trump's press conference ramblings about Epstein, "I want everything," to be shown are as hollow as his promises to drain the swamp. If he truly wanted transparency, he'd release the files, not hide behind Patel's conspiracies. This is classic Trump. Create a crisis, point fingers, and dodge accountability. His enemies' list and military deployments are smoke and mirrors, meant to distract from the real scandals: his corruption, his failures, and his betrayal of the American people. The economy, which he brags about with nonsensical claims of trillions in investment, is a house of cards, propped up by taxpayer dollars funneled into losing propositions. His deals, like a supposed $550 billion agreement with Japan, are fantasies, not achievements. The capitalist system he claims to champion is being undermined by his own reckless spending, all to feed his insatiable need for applause. Laura Loomer's rise from fringe provocateur to Trump's de facto advisor is the ultimate indictment of his dysfunction. This is a woman who handcuffed herself to Twitter's headquarters, peddled 9/11's conspiracies, and spewed racist vitriol against Kamala Harris. Yet Trump, too weak to resist her flattery, gives her a seat at the Resolute desk. Her April 2025 meeting, where she presented a dossier of disloyal staffers, was a masterclass in absurdity. Trump, entranced by her fervor, fired 6 NSC officials on the spot, proving he's not a leader, but a puppet dancing to Loomer's tune. Even his own aides, like Susie Wiles and Michael Waltz, can't rein her in, their authority crumbling under her social media clout. Loomer's influence extends beyond the NSC. She's claimed credit for ousting a CIA official, a DOJ prosecutor, and even a West Point appointee, all under the guise of loyalty. Her 1.7 million ex-followers amplify her every whim, turning her into a one-woman wrecking crew. Trump, too spineless to govern, lets her run amok, praising her as a fantastic woman while his administration implodes. This isn't strength, it's cowardice. A man so desperate for validation, he'll let a conspiracy theorist steer the ship. Even MAGA loyalists are turning on Loomer, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Lindsey Graham. Hardly beacons of moderation have begged Trump to ditch her, warning that her toxicity could cost him politically. But Trump, ever the narcissist, can't resist her adulation. He's traded governance for a circus, with Loomer as the ringmaster. The result? A White House in chaos, a nation divided, and a president humiliated by his own inability to lead. Trump's rhetoric is as dangerous as his actions. He calls himself a prophet, the chief law enforcement officer, and even flirts with a third term as if the Constitution is just a suggestion. This is the language of a dictator, not a president. His threats to stay beyond his term are a desperate ploy to avoid lame duck status, but they're empty. The Supreme Court and the Joint Chiefs would drag him out kicking and screaming, a fitting end to his reign of chaos. Movies like Civil War paint a grim picture of what happens when leaders overstay their welcome, and Trump's fantasies of eternal power are headed for the same fate. His obsession with labeling everything a national security threat or an emergency is a tired tactic to justify his overreach. From immigrants to dissenting governors, everyone's an enemy in Trump's paranoid world. Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and Kathy Hochul troll him relentlessly, exposing his fragility with every barb. Trump's 1 a.m. rants on truth so incoherent screedsryle, a man unraveling, a leader who's lost his grip on reality. He's not a prophet, he's a false idol, worshipped by a shrinking cult and mocked by a nation waking up to his farce.